Yeah, good day, God's people. Welcome to today's edition of Where to Go. But today I have something more unique to share with you. I want to share my journey of how I studied French with you today, and I hope that it helps somebody, motivates somebody to also try to take this journey of learning French, of learning another language, of learning anything that you possibly set your mind to do. The Bible says that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So I believe that if you put your mind to something and if you work hard at it, you'll be able to do it. So how did my French journey started? I remember that when I finished the university, I learned a little bit of French in JHS, I think in primary school and in JHS in the junior secondary school. And in the secondary school, I did not do any French at all because I was a science student. And in the university, I learned electrical engineering. I studied electrical engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So I didn't get the opportunity then to actually do any French. So after the university, I decided that, okay, I was going to learn it for two basic reasons, that I'm an engineer and I'm a pastor. So in the engineering field, I mean, you have sometimes certain contracts in other countries, other francophone places that require you to be able to communicate, even though you know the skill of engineering, but it requires you to be able to communicate. And some of my engineering friends may not be able to do that because they can't simply communicate with the francophone brothers. So I decided to learn French to cover that aspect. And I also realized that from the spiritual point of view, that we could have a lot of people who are francophone and will also need la parole de Dieu to be preached to them. So j'aimerais bien prêcher en français et je pense qu'il est très important d'avoir une autre langue tu peux vous aider à prêcher l'évangile avec les gens étrangers. And so I decided to learn French in that manner. So I had a lot of passion coming on the back of that, coming into that space to be able to learn the language. So I first of all got some tutorials from my roommate, and he was actually listening to it, and I said, hey, this thing sounds interesting. And what was that? It was Speak and Read Essential French, Pimsleur Speak and Read Essential French. So that's basically what I started with. Now for Pimsleur Speak and Read Essential French, their approach to teaching is a bit different. How do they do that? They have about a 30-minute lesson per lesson, and then it starts off with a conversation. So the focus is more with being able to converse with people. So when I started off, I had lessons like je m'appelle Edwin, j'ai 30 ans, j'habite à Takoradi ou bien j'habite à Accra, stuff like that, very slowly. Mais la plupart des gens en France, par exemple, parlent trop vite. A lot of the francophone natives actually speak very fast. So when you start off and you're a bit slow, you may be demotivated and you say, no, well, maybe the thing is not working for me. But it is important for you to start slow, and then you can build your vocabulary and build it on from there. So Pimsleur's model starts off with a 2-minute conversation right from the beginning. And then chances are that because you are now starting off, you don't understand anything that they are saying. But in the next 28 minutes of that same tutorial, they will try to explain and break down everything that was said in the initial 2-minute conversation. So by the end of that clip, of that lesson for the day, you'll be able to understand everything that was said in the first 2 minutes. And I thought that was a very, very fantastic way of teaching a language, because the approach was really good and it focuses more on helping you to interact. So I remember starting off like that. My sister actually studied French in the university. So when she came home and she saw me just repeating things slowly, je m'appelle Edwin, j'ai 30 ans, j'habite à Takradi. My sister was like, what are you trying to do? I said, well, I'm trying to learn French. She said, no. You can't learn French like this. Nobody does it this way. I said, okay, just wait and see. But the good story about the good part of that story is that after 3 months of consistently studying French without a break, every single day, she came back and said, you speak French better than my course mates. And I said, yeah, I knew this was possible. Right. So that was the approach for Pimsleur. It takes you through these lessons from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And that's what I went through. Then after that, I bought another set of CDs from Michel Thomas. Michel Thomas, he's actually like a polyglot, and he speaks multiple languages: English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Latin, a couple of them. So he actually speaks and teaches these languages. So I actually love the Michel Thomas approach because for him, he will tell you that if you want to learn a language, you have to go from the known to the unknown. So, for instance, he will tell you if you already speak some English, all the English words that you already know that end in shin, like promotion, like determination, like ascension, like every kind of shin word you know in English, like comprehension, they are all exactement la même chose en français. C'est-à-dire, it's exactly the same thing in French. There are beaucoup de similarités entre les deux parce que the root word is Latin and it is very similar between the two. So Michel Thomas's approach says that, okay, all these shin verbs is exactly the same in French except for the pronunciation, which is that the pronunciation of these words may be different, but they are exactement la même chose. They are exactly the same. So Michel Thomas will teach you that, okay, if you say promotion in French is promotion, just the pronunciation will change and stuff like that. But you will also have to learn the exceptions to the rules. For example, a word like vacation in English is not vacation en français. It is vacances en français. So if you want to go on a vacation, you would say je pars en vacances. You don't say je pars en vacation or something like that. Yeah. So you have to learn the exceptions to the rules. And the funny thing about the French language is that there are a lot of rules. Il y a beaucoup de règles and also a lot of exceptions to the rules. So that's the funny thing about the French language. Il y a beaucoup d'exceptions, des règles, il y a beaucoup de règles. So you have to learn the rules and you have to learn the exceptions to the rules. So he will tell you that shin verbs are exactly the same in French and English, but the exception is that vacation is not vacation, it is vacances. A word like translation is not translation, it is traduction. So I want to make a translation for you. Is not I want to j'aimerais bien faire la translation pour toi. No, that's wrong. You can say je voudrais faire la traduction pour toi. That's the correct way to say it. So you have to learn the rules and learn the exceptions to the rules. That's the other part that I learned. So for a lot of the conjugation and a lot of the grammar and a lot of the things that was concerning the French that I was learning, I also learned a lot of the rules and I also learned the exceptions to the rules. So that was on the one side. So I used the Pimsless model, the Michel Thomas model, and then I also had a lot of interactive sessions on YouTube, and I found some of them very interesting. Some lessons from Learn French with Alexa is a very good module I used. I also used Français avec Pierre. That was also very helpful, and all that helped me to improve my vocabulary with time. Now, this is my favorite part. Now, being a Christian, one of the other things that I learned, and it was just my direct approach to learning the language, was that because I already enjoyed reading my Bible every single day, I decided that this time round, my To the Bible series, I'm not going to do the Bible in English. I'm going to do the Bible in French. So I started reading my Bible in French, listening to audio Bible in French. And that also helped me a lot because there's a lot of things that have been written. Some of that is written à l'époque, some of them written in the past, in the present, in the future, and it helps you with all these kind of construction of these tenses, as it were. So that was a very, very important tool for me, and it served me two purposes. Because I'm a pastor, and also I like to learn the language. I was like killing two birds with one stone, or if you were from the other side, you say killing two stones with one bird. Yeah, whatever way it is, but that's what I did. I actually read my Bible every day en français, and I found verses that I memorized. Verses like n'aimez pas le monde ni les choses qui est dans le monde. Si quelqu'un aime le monde, l'amour de Dieu n'est pas en lui. I learned verses like Dieu n'a pas honte d'être appelé leur Dieu. I learned verses like je prie que Dieu va vous donner la connaissance de sa volonté avec intelligence spirituelle et toute sagesse et la puissance avec la parole de Dieu. So these things actually helped me a lot to build up a lot of vocabulary, and also helped me with improving and sounding better and better every single day. So that was really a very, very good thing, a very powerful thing that I did. So yeah, if you're a Christian and you have a passion for languages like I do, then you can balance it off. It's a very good thing for you to do. And the next thing I did was to watch some movies and also to listen to the French channel RFE, for instance, Radio France International. Is a good tool for just opening up your ear to picking up the accent of the French people. If you are a typical Anglophone and you are speaking French, you speak it with an Anglophone accent. It's just like somebody trying to, for instance, somebody is Arabic is trying to speak English. You see that the accent is very Arabic, but what he's trying to say is English. You understand what I'm saying? So, exactement la même chose en français. I listen to Radio France International. I listen to some TV channels as well. I listen to TV 5 Monde, some news channels, France 24, France 24. It's also a good channel I use for news, just listening to the news on Francais, and it also did help me a lot along that journey. Now, I also did watch some movies. I watched some movies. Some of the popular ones I remember, I watched a movie like Dîner de Cons. I watched Vive la France. Those were interesting movies. So they help you spice up your interest to learn the language as far as enjoying the storyline and all that. So that was also a very important thing to do. And I tried to also maybe even from work or from church generally, I mean, sometimes consciously, unconsciously, when I meet people that I don't even know, I just greet them in French. Bonjour, bonjour monsieur, est-ce que vous allez bien aujourd'hui? Est-ce que tu as bien dormi? Comme ça. And sometimes, not very often, but sometimes you, once a while, you come across somebody who also speaks French. So chaque fois j'ai une opportunité, je vais parler avec quelqu'un qui parle la langue aussi, parce que la plupart des gens ici au Ghana ne parlent pas bien le français malheureusement, mais parfois, quelquefois, tu peux trouver quelqu'un qui parle aussi et tu peux communiquer. Et tu connais qu'avec la langue française, plus tu parles et plus tu es à l'aise. C'est ça. So that's what I did. I tried to find people around, sometimes casually, find somebody who also speaks the language, and it also did us a great deal of help. Yeah, so these are my tips for how I actually learned to speak the language, to speak French. And I am still trying to learn more. I'm still trying to improve. I'm still trying to have interactive sessions and also trying to speak with more native Francophone people to pick up the accent and also to improve day by day. So whichever place you are on that journey of learning the language, I wish you well in this season, and I pray that you will actually have the passion, the commitment to keep going until you actually come to the point where you also be able to speak fluently. All right, so thank you for listening to me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. I hope that you subscribe to the channel and share this with somebody. It may be a blessing to somebody. And for every goal that you have in the coming year and in the coming days ahead, one of the things that you have to remember is that if you set your mind to it, and you put in the work, you'll be able to succeed at it. Dieu te bénisse. Alors, à plus tard.